Well, guys, I just don't get it. I don't understand why Joe Scarborough actually still calls himself a conservative. Because clearly, if you guys have been paying attention to Morning Joe, this man is a Trump deranged leftist. Now, you may be thinking, he was actually paid to actually hate Trump. Okay, if you want to go that route. But this man knew what he was getting into. On MSNBC, man, you must be Trump deranged. And you guys know, like 7-8 years ago, man, he was really, really cool with Trump. But man, money can change people, folks. Look at Liz Farrah Griffin over there on The View. She worked for Trump, wrote him a nice letter when he left office, and she gets paid by ABC on The View to be Trump deranged. So bad that she even admitted that she voted for Kamala Harris. Yeah, she's actually trying to change her tune now, guys, post-election. Trying to get back in the good graces of the conservatives. Maybe she's actually afraid for a job, considering that ABC is looking for a pro-Trump person to be on there. But I digress. Morning Joe, man, they actually came out and announced that they spoke with President Trump. That means they spoke with Hitler, right? Because they've been telling us, right, that Trump was Hitler. Now they're changing their tune, man. Now they're changing their tune, and guess what? It's backfired, folks. Because one thing about the left, man, that we always know, you cannot compromise with the left. They want you on board with them 1,000%. And if you actually announce that you spoke with President Trump, try to come to agreements or whatever, now the left's going to cancel you, man. Look at this, guys. Let's watch this clip here. This was then and this is now. Let's hear the difference, guys. Let's roll it.
And then he says that the news network that is most critical of him should be taken off the air. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people, from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators.
That's funny right there, because Mika Brzezinski just said her father spoke to world leaders he didn't agree with. But when Trump speaks to Putin, speaks to Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping of China, he's sucking up the dictators, right? But now Mika Brzezinski is actually singing a different tune, right? Anyway.
Dictators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
Yeah, big mistake, man. Big mistake, because people on the left will never, ever forgive you. Never. They're doing this, folks, because they are now irrelevant. The media. America has rejected the mainstream media. America didn't believe any of the lies that the mainstream media was pushing about Trump. They went out there and voted for Trump. Now, Morning Joe is seeing the writing on the wall, man. Wait a minute. Those people, we need them that voted for Trump to actually watch us. It's backfired, guys. Look at this, guys. MSNBC's Morning Joe sheds viewers as liberals rage at Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski over Trump meeting. Yeah, they committed the grave sin of speaking to Trump, and the left is never going to forgive them. Because based on that clip, man, it definitely seems like Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski may not be going full Trump deranged. Because the few people that were actually tuning into them were tuning in for Trump derangement. But guess what? Trump derangement didn't work in the election. It didn't work. Nobody trusts you guys. So now they're trying to save face, but it's backfiring, guys. The left has abandoned Morning Joe. Look here. MSNBC's Morning Joe has seen its audience noticeably shrink since co-hosts Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski told viewers they met face-to-face with President-elect Trump. During the program 6 a.m. Eastern Time hour on Monday, Scarborough and Brzezinski revealed they traveled to Mar-a-Lago in Florida on Friday to meet with Trump, who the married co-host spent years insisting was a fascist. Now, you know what, guys? I cannot blame the left for rejecting Morning Joe, because they did call Trump a fascist, and nobody wants to be friendly with a fascist. So in the left side, they're now seeing Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Now you want to be friendly with a fascist? Can't blame the left, man. I cannot blame the left. Anyway, in an overall threat to democracy, that ended quickly. It appears thousands of viewers responded by switching off the show. Quote, Morning Joe averaged 839,000 total viewers during a 6 a.m. Eastern Time hour on Monday, with 113,000 in the advertiser-coveted demo ages 25 to 54. In the 7 a.m. hour on Eastern Time, its total fell to 694,000 and just 70,000 in the key demo. Wow. The drop-off was the opposite of the year-to-date Morning Joe ratings that typically see the audience grow as more Americans wake up. Wow. Then MSNBC's marquee morning show took another hit the next day, averaging only 638,000 total viewers at the 6 a.m. hour and just 81,000 in the key demo, losing about 20% of its total audience between Monday and Tuesday. Wow. I mean, guys, that is horrible. The average total audience was down 11% across its 4 hours of programming. Yeah, they made the great mistake, man, of deviating from the left by just meeting Trump. And the leftist communists, man, they want you to comply with them 1,000%. Because if you don't, man, then the left is going to come after you. Why is it now that Anna Kasparian, man, doesn't like the left anymore? They went after her. They went after her. Now, it seems like Jank over there on Young Turks too, I guess he's having his wake up moment too as well, man, because he went off on this leftist about the election. The left demands 1,000% compliance. And you know what, when it comes to Scarborough and Mika, maybe MSNBC actually said, hey, we need to save our network. Maybe you actually want to meet with Trump. But I don't think it's going to work, man. The left don't like them. The right doesn't like them either, man. You're not going to get Trump supporters to consistently watch your show. It's not going to happen, man. But that's a wrap for the show, man. It is over. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.